Alright, hi guys and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple, transparent Roblox GFX using Roblox Studio and Blender. It seems hard and very difficult, but actually it's quite simple. So I am going to be showing you this and yeah, I hope it helps. So yeah, let's get started. So first of all, you want to make sure that you're at create.roblox.com, as here there is the Roblox Studio download. We do need Roblox Studio to get started with making our GFX, and if you don't have it, then you won't be able to get your character for the render. Roblox Studio should come with Roblox by default, so if you have it on your PC already, make sure to check if it is there already, but if it's not, just download it by clicking on Start Creating. So if you haven't already, you should be greeted with a login page on Roblox Studio. However, once you've opened it, you should be greeted with this nice home page that lets you start a new project. So straight away, you want to click on Classic Base Plate. We don't want to use a normal base plate because it's already got a spawn point in the middle, which is just going to make our lives easier, especially for performance, if we click on Classic Base Plate. So Roblox Studio may stop responding whilst it's loading up this project, but right now it's fine. So to move around Roblox Studio, just press on WASD. And to rotate the camera around, just hold down on the right click and drag, and you should be good to go. So we need to add our character in somehow, and there are 3 ways of doing this. So to add your own, you can go to avatar right here in the top and click on rig builder and select whichever one you want. You can use either R15 or R6, it doesn't matter which, and just click on my avatar and it should come in right here. Yeah, I clicked on it twice, so it's showing it twice, but there we go, we've got our character. So that's one way of doing it. Or what we can do is we can use one of these 2 plugins, either Moon Animator or Load Character. So for Moon Animator users, just click on Moon Animator in the plugins tab and go to Character Inserter, type in the username that you want or ID and select whether it's a default body, original R6, R15 or old R15. I'm going to use R6, insert, and there we go. We've got my character there. Then, if you don't want to pay for Moon Animator, since it's no longer free, you can go to Load Character by Already Pro and type in the username. So let me do that really quickly. MegaOscar900. It should show up automatically. You should press enter. Check Spawn Out Origin. However, it won't do much as far as I know. And click on whichever. It can be either spawn R6 or spawn R15. I'm going to spawn R6. And as you can see, we have our character right there. So now you can see that our character's there. This is not where we are done. I want it to be at the center of a base plate and standing on top of the base plate. This is because when we're going to import it in Blender later on, we need that to be matching up with the rig that we're going to be using. It sounds complicated, but you'll see it's going to make our lives a lot easier. So what we want to do is in the Explorer right here, which if you can't see, just go to View and check Explorer, make sure it's dark. If you open that up with your character, click on Humanoid Root Part and scroll down in the properties, which should be here as well, and go to C-frame position and change it to 0, 3, 0. And then your character should spawn there. If it doesn't work, try 0, 0, 0. I've seen that working before, but 0, 3, 0 is usually the one. So do that. And then right click on your model in the Explorer and then click on Export Selection. So I've made a folder called Tutorial 2. You want to make sure that any model that you save in Roblox Studio or from Roblox Studio, sorry, you want to make sure that you save it in a specific folder for it because it's going to save textures along with it. And if those textures get replaced by another model that you saved, then it's going to be clashing and you're going to see like, I don't know, random Bloxy Cola texture on the sofa model. So just save it in its own folder. So I'm going to call this tutorial data and press enter on that. It should show progress by the bottom. Depending on how big the model is, it might take a while or stop responding even. That's normal, just wait. So now I'm going to close out of Roblox Studio. We're done with that now. Next, you want to head over to blender.org. This page may look different depending on what time you're doing this at, because Blender 4.1 is releasing like in 3 days on a day of recording. But yeah, what you want to do is just click on download right here or download right here. So if the version doesn't work for you, you can click on here. There will be an installer for Windows, a portable zip in case you don't have admin rights on your PC or you want to save it portably and move it around, or Microsoft Store. There's different versions for Mac OS, Linux, and Steam as well. Have I heard Steam maybe a little bit more buggy? I'm not sure. I just use a Windows installer. And once that's done, you can open Blender from your start menu or wherever you've saved it. So you will be greeted with this splash screen. Just configure the settings however you want. I'm not seeing them because this is my first time opening Blender, but just use whatever default it shows, as that is the way that most people will use it. And either go to General in a new file or just click off the splash screen. Now you can see this looks a little bit hard to maneuver and navigate around first time. However, I will show you what to do first. Now, if I ever say click on your middle mouse, just use 2 fingers on your trackpad if you don't have a mouse. So here's how you navigate around Blender. First, to rotate the camera, just hold down on your middle mouse and drag. Easy. To zoom in and out, either scroll up and down or hold down on Control and then drag your middle mouse up and down, however you want it. I think this is called the dolly zoom. Very smooth. And to pan around, just hold down on Shift, hold down middle mouse and drag around. Just move that around. To use WASD, you can go to View, Navigation, and Walk Navigation. I set the shortcut to Shift F, as older versions are like that, and I just work with Shift F better. You can set this yourself by right-clicking it and changing a shortcut. However, if you do want to do more stuff in Blender, it will interfere with other shortcuts. I've changed those myself, but the best way to do it is using the normal shortcut, which is Shift Delta. And the Delta key is the key just next to the 1. Now, actually thinking about it, it might not be called Delta. I don't know. I'll show an image for you to see. If you press on that, you can use WASD to move around. Hold down on Shift to go faster. Scroll up and down to update the speed of it, and left click to submit that, or right click to cancel that. So yeah, very cool. I use this mode very often. It's very good. So now what we're going to be using is a rig. And the simplest way of explaining a rig is it's just a skeleton which controls what part of a body of a character will move. And you can have facial rigs or face rigs for the face. You can have body rigs for the body. So we are going to be using a Roblox rig, which I've created called Fluid Rig. And I'll just show you how to download that really quickly. So it's right here, as you can see. I have left a link in the description. Use the version E2, otherwise it won't work with Blender 4.0 or over that. And it is free, so you can type in whatever price you want there. It is recommended to pay £5, but you don't necessarily have to. But I would appreciate it if you did. So yeah, finally downloaded Fluid Rig, and here you can see we have Fluid Rig and Fluid Rig Lite. We're going to be using one of these 2 files. So if your PC is more low end and old, just use Fluid Rig Lite. If it is newer, use the normal Fluid Rig. Feel free to use any. I'm going to open the normal Fluid Rig. You will see this error at the bottom. If you don't know, that's fine. The error doesn't mean anything. It just means that when I saved this project, I didn't select any tools here. It sort of made Blender go, what on earth is this? So just select a tool and it should be fine. So we want to add our texture because obviously this isn't our character. So go to either R6 texture or R15 texture, depending on whichever one you're using. So I'm going to go to R6 texture. And you can see these 3 different things. These are called nodes, but you don't need to worry too much about them. Simply just go to this part right here where it says R6 default and click on this folder icon to open a new image. Then find where you saved your character and open that texture. The texture should look like this: a face, your hair texture, the skin tone, and the clothes. It shouldn't look like accessories or anything. Just use this and open that. And you can see we have our texture on there. You may not see it yet for the R15 texture, but I will show you how to show that. So back in rig default right here, what we need to do is add hair because our character does not have hair. So file, import, wavefront. So you will see in the folder where you saved your model that you'll have two different files. So you'll have either the .mtl or .obj. I have the .obj and we're going to use the .obj because that's actually our object file. So just select it. Don't double click it yet. Right here in the options, if you don't see this, just click on the gear icon, turn on split by group and import wavefront obj. Now our entire character is there, which is also a good thing because then we can separate it. So right here at the right, this is a bit like the Explorer in Roblox Studio. It's called the outliner. What we're going to be doing is just removing all of the models that don't need to be there by just left clicking and pressing on delete on your keyboard or X. If you're pressing X in the viewport, which is what this 3D part is called, you will see a pop-up saying OK with delete on it. Just click on delete. So delete that until you've got only your hair in there. It should be called something different to your actual character anyways, like something like handle. And now we need to attach it to the head so that when we move the head around when we're posing our rig, we're going to have our hair moving along with it. So hold down on shift while selecting your hair, then select the head model, press Ctrl P or object parent, and then there you go with the same pop-up, and just click on object. And then there we go, we've got it. So now I just want you to go to the back of your character. You will see you have all these colorful different controls. We're not using those just yet. Now, if you can't see controls because of the hair, what we're going to do is just select that hair and press H to hide it. To unhide it, just press Alt H and it should be there. Good to go. So I've hidden that now and just select the controls. If it does go orange just like this and selects the whole thing, go right here to his drop down, which is either at the bottom or the top, and click on pose mode or press Control Tab. It should be Command on Mac, I think. Actually, I don't even know. I don't use a Mac. But yeah, so we've got these 4 different icons here. And what we're going to want to select is this, the one that looks like a Roblox dummy. And we need to change this to our boy rig. Since this is a blocky rig, we've got to change it to a different package. If it's R15 and you've added your texture in, just change the generation to 2 and it should change to R15. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn up that slider on the left arm until we start seeing our boy rig. Yeah, there we go. So we're seeing that there. It should be at 5, which is the maximum. So I'm just going to turn everything up to 5 on all the body parts. You can see you can mix and match actually, which is kind of cool. But yeah, there we go. So as you can see, we have our rig, and I'm just going to press on Alt H again to unhide that. And there we go. We have our rig right there. Perfect. So to select an object, just or a control, just left click on it. I should have mentioned that earlier, but yeah, make sure you do that. And to move it around, I'm about to show you that. So there are these tools at the left. You can select one of them. So this is a movement one, which literally moves it. And these controls just move the parts of the body, as you can see. And you've got a rotate tool right here, which is the one that you'll be using the most. You can change it on these different axes, but you may notice that if you use it from here in the corner, it will move like what's called a trackball. So you can just move it around however you want. Scale is also here. You can make your characters look really weird if you want. That's a thing. So yeah, as you can see, we've got a perfect little thing right here going. And this is the last one called transform, which is all of them together. So it's very useful in case you're in a rush or something. You never know. And here's a pro tip. There are shortcuts to these. To move it around, just press on G. And to rotate it, just press on R. If you want to rotate it freely, just press on R twice. So double press on R. And yeah, there you go. To scale, press S. Some of these will not work with G. It will just instead rotate along anyways. So remember that. So another thing that you can do as well to see your texture if you want to, you can click on material preview right here, which will load in all the textures. There are different ways of making your texture look better by going to a little pen icon. If I just quickly hide the hair, you can see we have different texture types. So we can make it glossy if we want, or we can make it have bump, so it's like a fake 3D effect. Or we can have surface imperfections, which will take a little bit to load and it will look a bit more realistic. So yeah, and IK we'll get onto later. The settings, that's just the rig details, so how much geometry is able to show up. So if we have that at 0, you can see it's very low poly. Turn that up and it starts to look better. However, it only goes to 3, or you can type in a custom number if you want. So now I've unhidden the hair, which by the way, you can either press Alt-H or click on this eye icon, which I never mentioned earlier. We're going to start posing. But there's our pose. That is basically it. So now we need to get it rendered. By the way, you're seeing I'm hiding all these overlays. It's just that button right there. You can click on that. And this just removes the gizmos, which is what you call little transformation things. So yeah. So make sure it's set to cycles as the render engine right here in the render properties. And if you want to learn how to do it with your GPU, I have a tutorial for that in the card above. Make sure you watch that actually after this, so you get to know how to render faster. And follow my settings. I'm gonna show you how to do a fast, simple render without too much lag. So I'm gonna go samples 16, denoising on open image denoise. Lights, we can turn on a light tree, and yeah, I think that's it. Light tree doesn't need to be turned on. It will make it a bit slower, so you don't need to turn it on. Yeah. Or what you can do also is set the samples to 4096 and turn on that noise threshold and turn it up to 0.5, just for a little bit of a more dynamic render, a more optimized render. So you can play around with that. I'm going to set it to, am I at 0.65? Yeah. Now if we go to rendered preview right here, you can see it looks very realistic actually compared to what we just saw. But not realistic enough for our liking. We don't have a we don't have any lighting, so we got to add that. Go to the world properties right here, and you can see we have the color already, so you can change the color of that. But what we're going to be doing is adding what's called an HDRI, so an HDRI, and basically it's just a way of saying a world texture. So you can go to polyhaven.com and you can find these right here. You can use them at either 4. I would use it at like 4K resolution if you want. But yeah, just find whichever one works. It's going to light up your scene. We're not going to be seeing it in the background. It's just going to light up your scene. And make sure you're downloading it as EXR, as they will be smaller file sizes if I remember correctly. Just play around with it. Yeah, it will be slightly smaller. And 4K is good enough. You can have it 8K, 16K, 2K, 1K, whichever one. 8K is for more high-end PCs. My PC is more high-end, but we're not going to see the background, so it doesn't matter. And so back in here in Blender, you see this yellow dot right next to the color? Click on it and change that to environment texture right here. And you'll see it's completely pink. This is what happens whenever Blender sees a texture, but it's not set. So it's like, if it can't find a texture, then it just goes to pink. Which, I mean, like, go Blender. So, like we did with the texture for our character earlier, just click on open right here. Go to wherever you saved your HDRI. I've already saved mine. I'm not going to use the one I did last time. I'm just going to use this sky one. And yeah, it looks nice. Now, if you ever want to rotate the HDRI, I can show that in a different video. However, you can literally just go to object mode and rotate it all right here, just like that. They'll make it a bit easier for you. Now we need to add a camera, otherwise we won't be able to see the character. It won't be rendered in. So either press Shift A to show up this pop-up, or just go to add and click on camera. If you really got, if you see this, then just click on camera again, but it should only show up with camera. And press on number pad 0 to go into that view, or click on here, and you'll see we are in the camera's view. And just move that around until you're at your character. I'm going to change this back to material view, just make it faster. And yeah, I mean, I think this is good. You can set your output resolution right here in the output settings to something like 1000 by 1000 to make it square. to make this process faster, just hold down and drag down so you can edit both values at the same time. I'm going to do 1500 by 1500 and do it like this. By the way, navigating a camera is just like using a normal viewport thing. It's normal. And this is actually good for posing, since now I can edit it so that the head is actually looking at the camera, staring into the soul. So I think that's actually kind of good. I'm going to make it so that you can see, if there is a flaw, you can't see it, because I'm not going to add a flaw. And that's for another thing. Now you can see we just have this right here. We don't want to see the background in the final thing. We want it to be transparent. So go to the render properties and go right here to film and change that to transparent. That is good to go. Now we got to check out our output settings. So go back to the output settings, make sure that's on PNG. Make sure right here, down here in the color management, that the view transform right here is changed to AGX. This just makes it automatically more realistic, as it's better color spacing and all that. But Filmic is good still. It's the old version, but I like AGX a bit more. So I'm going to use that. And yeah, now we can just render it. So go to render image. I'm just going to go down to render and press F12 to render it just like that. Now, depending on what you're doing, it may take a bit, but it is done and you can see it right here. Very nice. And yeah, I'm actually quite happy with this one. So all you do is just go to image and just click on save as, and you're good to go. So that is pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helped you. Make sure to comment down below for any other tutorial ideas, or if this didn't work for you and you need help. And make sure to join my Discord server so you can ask me questions directly. I will probably end up answering a lot faster through Discord than YouTube comments. And yeah, I really hope this helped you, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.